doing.
I don't know about that.
All right.
Yeah, I know about that.
I don't.
All right.
You come in and the computer's updated and everything's changed.
I don't know about that.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I know about Somebody forgot to mute.
Shut up. You're going to watch us start duking it out already, right?
Wow. January 1st. Ding, ding. Here it goes.
Here we go. The fight is on. That's good.
Right.
All right.
Let's see. I think I'm good. I mean, you're going to have to start. I will tell her that.
All right. We're waiting for a couple, but Happy New Year, everybody. We're so glad to be back and getting back in the swing of some normalcy. Part of you that were already on. We've had a pretty rough holiday season around here. We've lost 3 pivotal people in 3 months, and just emotional stuff to deal with. So trying to stay on track, trying to do what we knew how to do. Of course, with all the whammies coming one way or the other, went right out the door. So a good part of it is we are going to be starting with the new group this week, starting right back with everybody else. Lance metabolism could probably jump right back in and go into the advanced part, but I'm probably going to have to back up a little bit and get my foundation laid again, get those fat-based hormones fat and happy again before I can move forward. So we're going to have people at both levels trying to get us going. So that's one of the things that they're going to be the cool part. The new program starting tomorrow. We're going to be doing it right along with you. So it's not just teaching it and sharing it. We're going to be doing it right along with you. So again, we're excited to get back on track. Some of the things we've learned a lot of lessons along the way for the last couple of weeks. We tried staying on track for the most part, but we had so many things out of our control, going places, meeting with family, everything like that we just didn't have the control that we normally have. And we ended up, it is what it is. And we said, just not going to feel guilty about it, not going to beat ourselves up. But first year, we're going to get started and get right back on track and do what we know how to do. That's the beauty of the program, is we can turn it around and get right back on track and get going. So that's what we're at. We're trying to get through the emotional humps and ups and downs of life and get focused and directed, because the big things I've learned is I do not like feeling this way. And I don't know about any of you that kind of went off the rails a little bit over the holidays, but this is awful. My sleep is a mess. I hurt again. I can't walk good. My neuropathy is kicking in, my brain fog. I don't know my own name right now. Just so many things that you forget the little changes that just happen over time that you so look forward to and take for granted now, but how fast they come back as soon as you reintroduce things into your body that you're not used to having, how fast those changes will come back. And I think the cool part of learning in that is learning that when we do this correctly and we make these steps to go forward, that healing process is just like a snowball. It just will keep healing and keep healing and keep healing. But as soon as you stop doing it, you're reversing, and those of us with the metabolic damage at the level I do, I don't get this luxury. He will jump right back in. His chemistry will jump right back in. It won't be so hard for him.
Let's hope anyway.
But I know it's going to be a fight for me. It's going to be an uphill battle to get my body jump started again. So I'm breaking everything out in my toolbox. I got my ketones lined up. I've got my MCT capsules lined up. I've got everything lined up so I can get my body jump started. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys tonight about, of what level each of you are at. Do you know what to do? Do you know how to get back on track? Do you know how to keep going forward? If you just need some questions answered and kind of picking apart your chemistry a little bit tonight, we can talk about that using the tools in your toolbox. But if anybody still wants in our New Year, New You program, we're starting tomorrow night. We're going to do a meet and greet, get everybody's chronometers and stuff like that downloaded and hooked up on the Keto Mojo platform. So you'll be able to be one of my patients on my patient portal. So all that stuff that we planned on getting started weeks ago is actually going to start tomorrow. So anybody that still wants in that program, you can still go to our website, journeytoketo.com, pick what level you want in, if you want in at a beginner level or an advanced level. But either way, we can juggle all that around and get you going. But tomorrow we're going to hit the floor running, get everybody on track, start using our toolbox, make sure everybody is, their toolbox is ready, because this is the time we're going to need it and use it. This is definitely when the toolbox comes in handy. As much as you hate to admit it, we all need that little bit of help. I tried pushing through it the very first time I did it without biohacking anything, and it was miserable. So this is where I've learned a better, easier way of, sometimes we just need to biohack our bodies into the direction we want it to go until our body kicks in. And that's okay. I've really learned that's not a fail. It is meeting my body where it's at instead of just being miserable and pushing ahead with your nose on the cement, because it's not fun doing it that way. So I want to jump in. I'm going to start, probably have to backtrack Keto Continuum, probably 5 or 6. I'm not going clear back to the beginning, but I'm probably going to have to do a meal or 2 a day to get enough fats in me for this week. I'm going to continually meet my fat macros so that I know my fat-based hormones are happy. And that's what I would recommend for especially all you women. Wayne and Rob, Lance, all you guys probably have a little bit more leeway than some of us girls do. Kev, hey, good to see you, hon. Look at you guys looking all good and slim. Oh, Sharon, you too. You guys all look beautiful. Everybody's looking so good. But so I'm probably gonna have to back up. Hey, I'm with you, Andrew. We're in this. The guys can start probably a little bit more advanced than some of us girls too. If you've been off track at all, I would recommend taking a step back and let's move forward from there. If you've stayed on track, first of all, God bless you. Sharon, it sounds like you've done really well. Wayne, you guys did good. Vicky still doing good. Okay, well, she's my soul sister, so we're in this together. No worries. Again, we might just have Stina. Are you on or off? You're off?
I'm off. I'm rebuilding the foundation as well.
Okay. All right. Then it's, wherever you're at, don't beat yourself up. It's not a fail. It's just, we're going to meet you where you're at, and we're going to rebuild. Start with the basics. Start with making sure your keto toolbox is ready and usable, and you have everything stocked up that you may need. Biggest things I'm going to recommend: have your ketones and have your MCT capsules. Those are the 2 biggest tools that we always go back to. The links are on my website. You should be able to go right there to resources, lifestyle products, go down. Dr. Boz's links will be right on there to go straight to the products. It'll take you right to the page to purchase. Doesn't cost you anything to use our link, but it gives us a little bit in the background. So we appreciate the help. If anything you do need to order, we ask you to please use our links. Again, it doesn't cost anything extra to you guys, but it helps us out every little bit. So if you could just do that, everything's right at journeytoketo.com. And if the link is not there and there's something you need, just text me and I'll send you a direct link. It's no big deal. But so that's where we're at. Thanks for the hugs and the prayers and the messages and everything too, as our family was kind of dealing with some crap this time. So it was just sucky, but we appreciate the love and the prayers. And first of all, everybody's grace of understanding we just weren't able to be around. We need to be with our girls this weekend. It's where we're at. So come on in, check in, tell me how you guys are doing. Andrea, I haven't heard from you for so long. You come in and start off. Tell me where you're at. Jump in. It's good to see you, girl.
I was just gonna listen.
No, you're not.
She'll bust you every time. She will. She'll pick out that person that's just going to listen.
So the eating, time restricted eating and the eating windows are a real thing, and it's really easy to get off track. I haven't had, any, my girlfriend is standing by watching, not right now, but she's watching me, and she goes, I cannot believe that you don't lose weight. You have made so many changes in your life. And I'm just like, I guess I'm really insulin resistant or something, because the eating windows are real. And that's going to be, I'm kind of going back to where you're going back to, Tammy, like a week of twice a day, trying to keep it earlier in the day, like a 10 and 2 or 3 or something like that.
Yep.
And then going down to 1 and then back to the fasting. But I guess it's the fasting that is really where it's at for insulin resistant people.
Amen. Amen. That is the part, as much as everybody questions on why I push that so much. And I push that so much personally, because that is where I see the biggest change. That is where I see the biggest difference. That is where I feel the biggest difference in my body. As much as fasting is a struggle sometimes, but it's more of a mental game when our chemistry is correct. So that is why I'm saying back up, get your chemistry correct first. We'll get to the fasting, but again, my goal is I got to be on stage. My brain needs to be working good in 4 months. And I want 4 months of good fasting. I want my brain working. I've got to be able to keep my anxiety under control. I am not a good people person in front of people. So I've got to be I've got to do this for the brain health and my anxiety and everything. So say a prayer for us. That's that we all can have that on tap. But that's why it's so important. We're going to do this together. And if we have to backtrack, Andrea, people like me and you with the major insulin resistance, we've got to make sure those fat-based hormones are stable before we push forward, or we won't succeed through the fasting. Then you have to backtrack.
I'm going to try and be a lot more faithful at checking my numbers in the morning and not pushing beyond where they're good and saving, I guess, I don't know if this is the right thinking, but saving, if my numbers are good, get them to a good spot and stay there until they start catching up with me again. I've heard Dr. Boz say that a lot, like they'll catch
You'll
up
plateau.
and then jump to the next step and not try to fast maybe we'll see what happens with my numbers.
And your numbers are going to tell you, Andrea, if you start to plateau and you're ready to push forward, then that's one thing. But if you are not, that's okay too. You know, it's one of those, that is the beauty of knowing that DVR of what are your numbers doing on a consistent basis and where is your body truly staying at. When you're ready for a new stressor, what you're doing will stop working. So when you need to move forward and move to that next level, your body's going to tell you. Your body will tell you. Now, you can't use that as an excuse to not push forward.
Right.
But when your body is ready, and how you're going to know that is when you push forward, if it's just the mental game, then you know your chemistry is fine. If you're getting there and you're having issues, that's not just, not just a mental game, then we might have to back up a little bit. And that's where, knowing every step of that keto continuum, maybe it's just tightening up that eating window first. Maybe it's making sure that, you've done it enough consecutive days in a row of hitting your fat macros and things like that. All those fun little things to figure out is the game in this. That is where, I was even explaining to Wayne and some of the other people that, the veterans, the basics, but now it's learning to tweak your body. Now it's learning to read the numbers to know exactly what your body is telling you to do, whether that means you're ready to push a little bit, or whether it means, we just need to back out and hold right now. And hold space is okay. That's not a bad thing. And that's even what Dr. Boz pushes to me so much is I love the fasting and I want to push to that. But sometimes she just makes me slow down and I have to stop and regroup and think about where I'm truly at, what it's doing. So you'll get there, Andrea.
I'm gonna use the puck. I have the pucker up, and I like it.
Pucker.
Yeah, it doesn't make me pucker, but I'm gonna use it. So where I have slipped in the last few months is nighttime, and I think I'm gonna take it like around 3 or 4, maybe 5 at night.
Be careful. Be careful.
I know I'll have to play with it a little bit, but my sleep has been so off too.
I would be careful having them that late at night. If you're already struggling with your sleep, I would back that up a little bit because I don't know people that seems like
how long do they stay in your system?
They're really only supposed to be a few hours, being in, making the ketones and getting out. But I seem to think, and this is me personally, so I don't know, but we seem to follow a lot with insulin resistance. The more insulin resistant you are, it seems like it's that longer term effect. Like I didn't get a huge rise in my numbers right away, but the next day I still had good ketones where I normally don't. Okay. So I think if there is that stimulation, she's talking about getting the liver stimulated and making those ketones. I think there's really something to that major for us girls, especially those of us with major insulin resistance. I'm worried about if you take them that late, I would be worried about you being able to sleep and get some good sleep because we want that good sleep more than anything. That's so important. So play around with it. But if you could back that up into your eating window, but even if you had it like at 3 or so in the afternoon, you still should get that appetite suppressant through those ketones through the evening, I think. I would just be careful playing with that. If you can't sleep, back that up a little bit. So that'd be my biggest thing. But good job. Jump back on track. Reach out where you need help. If anybody's wanting in the New Year, New You Keto Continuum program, we start tomorrow. We'll put you in the patient portal. So that way, the cool part of my patient portal for any of our coaching clients is I will be able to, when you check your glucose at home, I will see it on my end on my patient portal. So I can help, we can troubleshoot, we can go through things like that. So it's kind of a big win. I really like that Keto Mojo patient portal has been a big win for people to be able to see. So Andrea, if you need in there, let me know. Okay, who wants to jump in?
I got a question about that Keto Mojo because I went ahead and switched. I don't want to dominate the whole night, but the blood prick and then when you put the tab up, it doesn't seem to feed very well. Is there a trick to that?
I had trouble with that. I had trouble with that too. And you've got to really kind of
scoop it.
You got to be at almost like a 45-degree angle to your finger and kind of come under your blood bubble, if you will, and kind of hold it right at the edge of it, and then it'll suck it in. If you go too far and like scoop it, you'll go past it and it won't read. But it is a little harder than the Foracare one. The Foracare one seemed to wick it up quicker. This one doesn't. But when you finally get that right area, you'll get there every time.
Okay, I'm just struggling with it a little bit.
Yep. Make sure you're at like a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
Right to the edge of it, and then it'll you just kind of inch it there, and it'll suck it right in.
Okay. Cool. I'll be quiet.
And if not,
no, you're fine.
You're fine. Let me know if you need it.
Because I know somebody else on here was going to ask that same question.
Come on in. Ann, you want to come and check in? Or are you just listening tonight? You there? There you go.
No, I have been gone for about 3 months and dealing with some medical issues and just kind of regrouping, and everything's been going on. And so I have been maintaining pretty well. I've lost 44 pounds since March of last year, 2022. So, and I've still maintained that over the time I've been gone in a way.
Nice.
Good.
So I'm actually feeling pretty good, but realizing more than ever that I need the support of the group. So to keep and keep myself maintained, and even to regroup and start again, because I'm back ready to get back into the program. And I started my chronometer meeting. I'm keeping my meals and everything up to date and all that kind of stuff. So
good.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to a new year and wanting to get back on track.
Good job. Well, welcome back, Ian. We're glad to see you again.
Thank you.
Yep. And that's what has happened to a lot of people over the holidays. Again, it's not a beat yourself up. It's just jump right back in. And again, that's the beauty of Keto Continuum. You can jump right back in wherever you left off and pick up wherever your body is. Grace is as good as your next meal.
Some of us are going to jump in harder than others.
He's going to try to jump right into fasting.
I'm going 72, starting right now, both feet. I'm going to white knuckle it through. I'm tired of it. So,
this is going to be miserable for this one for him, but
the next one, probably the next 3 or 4 are going to be miserable for me, but I'm tired. I'm done.
It's amazing how fast you go backwards, and we just sit there and it's like we get at the end of the day and it's like, even, we're so used to working late in the evenings, and this is usually when we feel great. We kick it till midnight every night, and it's like, oh no, we're at it's 9 o'clock. It's like we're watching TV. The other night we literally looked down.
Well, last night
it was 5:30.
I said, man, it's 5:30. We're really killing it tonight.
So it's just those things. I don't miss this feeling at all. Like, I can't wait to get back on track. But again, the guys can push and do that. Us girls, very few of us have that luxury. So don't hear me say to jump in like that for us girls, because most of the 9 times out of 10, us girls will crash and burn and have to backtrack and do it all over again. So again, that is where the tribe comes in. That is where supporting each other is going to come in. That is where come in that group. I ask you all to get over there, ask your questions. We'll be back in everything now. We're home. We're trying to get back into, he goes back to work this week. I'm back to work this week. We're going to try to get everything going. Whatever you need, put it in those groups, ask the questions. Because if you're having a struggle or a question, it is probably someone else in the group is too. So go ahead and type it in the group over there so we can come in and answer your questions and keep you going and everything. But we're in this together. That is what the tribe's for.
Yep. Time to get back engaged with everyone. And
what are you talking about, the group? Are you talking about your paid class?
Nope, I'm talking about our free group, the big free group, the
Facebook group.
Keto Continue or
Oh, in the Facebook. Okay, that makes
In the
sense.
Facebook
Okay,
group.
Journey
Yeah,
to
sorry.
Keto group.
I've
Journey
been
to
out of
Keto
it.
group in the Facebook group.
Yep, that's our big Facebook group. So that's the one that's free to everybody. So that's open to everybody. Go in there, ask your questions over there so we can get people answering over there, and the answers will be there to help more than one person.
And if there's people on YouTube over here and you haven't joined the group, please join the group. Get in there and get some information, get some stuff going on, and let us help you out. So
it's Journey to Keto with Tammy Laubacher over on Facebook. So in fact, you can put the link.
I already did. I put the link.
Got it.
In the comments.
Top of this. We're going to learn what we're doing yet. See you later. But anyways, put everything over there. Welcome. But any of you that have done Dr. Boz's course already with her or with us, you know the win is the long-term brain health in this. You know how her passion for the brain work, our passion for the brain work. I need the help as much as everybody else does for the brain work. This is where it all comes in. And that is where the tribe comes in. Even her 21-day course that was, phenomenal with everybody meeting up 21 days in a row. The win in that was the community right here. The win in that was getting vested with people beside you that are struggling with the same thing, or you may hear somebody else talk about something that you're struggling with that you didn't even think to ask about. Being in the groups, as much as, again, I keep saying it, we all have better things to do than sit here with 50 of our favorite strangers. It's just not everybody's favorite cup of tea, and I get it, but it is truly where we succeed the most in this. It really is showing up. Dr. Boz is so in it for the brain health, and it has become my long-term goal is I want to heal my brain from the medications, from the chemo, from Oxycontin, Dilaudid, sugar, glucose in my brain, all that stuff.
Give me your mouse.
Give me your mouse.
Thank you.
You can have my mouse. What are we doing?
I'm going to do something here.
Okay. So who wants to go next? Who wants to jump in? Come fill us in. Who wants to go? Sharon, come tell us how you're doing. Oh, Kevin, I'll come to you next.
Hit enter.
I'm doing good. I gave myself 2 days on Christmas, and I probably went 4, but the nice thing is I traveled and then I cleaned out my kitchen before I left. And then when I came home,
good tactic.
I was set up and I made beef rouladen before Christmas with my family. And I don't know if you guys know what beef rouladen is.
What is that? Fill us in.
It's a family friend who's German. Like you take a top or a London brown, you pound it, you put salt and pepper and a good grounded mustard, and then you can put some onions and then bacon, you roll it up. And then you brown it and you put it in beef broth, and then you make the gravy from the juice that's just been marinating with bacon and mustard and all this kind of stuff. So of course I did the mashed potatoes and the gravy the first night before Christmas, but I brought the rolls back from just the juice, and because it was just ready to go, because I put them in frozen and just snacked on those. So those are really good because it was bacon, mustard and juice. So nice. I kept, the potato and the gravy at my mom's house. So, and then I've been struggling though, but I think it's, you and I can have a conversation later, because I've been doing a lot of exercising, including a lot of weightlifting. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm doing things like twice a day. Right. And so I can't get my glucose is not kind of below 100, but it's about 100, 102. But I think because of all the exercising I'm doing, it's spiking my cortisol. So
what's your eating window looking like, Sharon? Are you 1 meal a day? Are you getting that all tightened up yet?
Yeah, I'm doing the 1 meal a day because I'm going to jump into the 72-hour fast tonight with everybody else who's doing it. Yeah. All so, right. But that's what I was wondering. I didn't start the MCT pills because I wanted to get my body used to those pretty quickly, but I've been doing some fat bombs and kind of those kind of things also, but still I need to tighten my macros on my fat and protein. Yeah. It's just hard to eat all of it in 1 hour. So
it is, but as long as that eating window, the closer during the day, you can fix that get that eating window, that's going to help. The tighter that eating window gets is going to help. And trying to meet those fat macros is going to, make sure those are okay before we push you too far. Just make sure. I know you're exercising like a crazy person. So
I was gonna say, if she really wants to get her glucose, is to tighten that eating window up. Right.
Yeah. It's the hard thing because of the exercising because I did a 20-mile bike ride yesterday, and then I have to do a 6-mile hike, walk, run tomorrow. So
Yeah, you're going to be throwing a lot of glucose in your system.
But I would make sure you're getting those fats in you, because you want the fat to be your fuel. So you make sure you're hitting those fat macros and tightening that window up and eating as early as you could in the day. So
a little, doing good,
tweaking.
but still a lot of tweaking need to go. So, but I'm down 3 more pounds before Christmas. So I'm excited.
Good job.
Yeah.
Hey.
And you may want to check out some of the videos over on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, because her brother did, a triathlon, and he was using, the fats for fuel. And there's a couple different videos there from Dr.boz answering some questions to him, on how to do that and how to really transition yourself to that. So that's some good information over there too. You might want to hit up.
I will say, anybody that's heavy training like that, just know, Sharon, I don't know if you'd seen it, but so many people throw out there, oh, you got to carb load a little bit or carb cycle a little bit and stuff like that. And she vetoed that one right off. She's like, absolutely not. You're fat adopted. It's a fat-based hormone, fat-based diet. You need the fats in you. The fat is what's going to keep you fueled. So I would kind of keep that simplicity for you as well. I would think, just making sure you're ready before you push into the fasting, but make sure you're there. But
yeah. I could actually, I've read a couple other articles and I've watched that article, like 2 weeks at least. And then, and I felt that I was so tired, exercising, but staying on keto, because I don't want to do those sugar glucose, especially when I'm biking.
Yeah.
And after my 3rd week now of doing this and exercising, it's getting so much easier. And I'm like doing my blood pricking before I exercise and after exercising to kind of see, it's really so interesting. I wish I could get a continuous glucose monitor through.
I'm with you.
Yeah, but I'm going to get one because I just have to get one. I just want to see that.
Me too. I've reached out to a couple companies. I want to try to get one that I can get for everybody, that we can get our foot in the door with one. So we've got some things in the works trying to get them. So I'm on a mission too. I want to see what the heck my body's doing every minute, not just hit and missing. So,
and real quick too, Sharon, I did put the link to the Facebook group in the chat.
That'll work. Good. All right, Sharon, good luck. We're so proud of you. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Keep it up.
Tomorrow night for group or for class. Tomorrow night, 8:00. Will you be able to be good? You good?
Yeah.
All right, Kev, come and tell us how you're doing. Look at you.
Man, he doesn't even look like the same person.
The same man.
I'm telling you what, this is the guy, when we first talked to him, I said, there's no way he's going to do this. And he is absolutely crushed it.
Kevin's a numbers guy. So the cool part of it is, anytime you want to learn the chemistry and what the numbers do, he is the perfect example of learning his body, learning his numbers, jumping in, seeing what works, what didn't work. He's no BS about it, but he literally gets on and he knows how to track his numbers. He knows how to watch his body. He knows how to function and stress his body. Just like we were saying, when your body starts to plateau and it's not working, that's when you push to the next level. Kevin has mastered it. So you'll see him over in our groups talking and helping out. He's one of our veterans. So jump in, Kev.
Ta-da.
So I don't know your real name, but ginger root there.
Andrea.
Andrea from Alaska.
I like that you're doing and playing around with and seeing what works, because that's about the only way you can genuinely get there. And Sharon's proving it to you by doing exactly what you're talking about. And that 1 hour a day thing, Sharon, I'm in month 12 or something like that. It took me like 9 or 10 months to be able to figure out what to eat to get it done in 1 hour. And most times the last month or so, I can do it in about 45 minutes and not feel bad. Yeah, I know. Because I was at an hour and a half, 2 hours going, holy crap.
Literally.
Awesome, dude.
So it can be done. You just keep messing with it. And God bless you for all that exercise. I walk my dog. You keep doing that stuff, girlfriend. You can have all that. And Lance, I'm going to try to figure out how to stop by on Tuesday to give you encouragement to physically come over there Tuesday evening.
Sweet. I want to see it.
Because I have to bounce it off Mrs. Phillips here. But one thing I will warn you, I went about 2 months without doing a 72, a 48, or the only thing I was doing was one meal a day. It was pretty hard on my body doing a 72.
Yeah,
I'll say
boy.
that. me and the bathroom were real intimate with each other.
Yep,
Like in the early days,
I'm
I
surprised.
was kind of blown away. So
I'm thinking I'm going to be the
doing a
same way.
72. Mine started at 5 o'clock.
So did mine.
It can't be any worse than what it is eating all the crap again.
No.
Yeah.
I was just surprised.
We had to talk in church today with a couple fellow keto members at church today
Of this group.
that we were laughing like, who has time to be in the bathroom all the time? Like, I'm once a day in and out, we're good to go.
No,
Now it's like,
no.
as soon as you get off track, it's like, who has time for this crap? Literally. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And I was fine
how
until I
everything-
did the 72. And then it was like, wait a minute, my body woke up again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello.
clean
And
it
I
out.
know, and another thing, Sharon, it took me a long time to figure out my proteins to fats that would work. And with me personally, when my proteins spike, when I eat too many proteins, my glucose goes haywire.
Yep.
So look at your proteins to fats, and that could be something that maybe is spiking your glucose, because we always think just the carbohydrates are going to do it. And I was surprised when I figured out the proteins were doing it, and they were doing it really bad. I mean, my average is like 85, 86 now. And a couple of weeks ago, I ate too much protein, 106. I mean, that's
Kevin,
a huge
could you give
jump.
us a rundown real quick of your stats from a year ago?
My blood pressure was like $135 over like 82 on 2 blood pressure medicines. Now it's about 116 over 70 on no blood pressure medicines.
Yeah.
Nice.
How
How about your weight?
I was 298. I'm 186 now. I was wearing size 54 pants, and I'm only 5'5.5". So I'm wearing 36s now. And the belt that you gave me, I told you, Lance, I'm on the last belt loop of that one. And you were there the day, I think you saw when I couldn't even get in the first belt loop.
Yep.
Now I'm fixing to go to another smaller
I
belt.
was going to say, you need another belt, don't you?
Yeah. My glucose was probably somewhere around 120 all the time. They were talking about putting me on whatever the hell pre-diabetes is. Either you have it or you don't. Anyway, my blood sugar is like 86 or 88, somewhere like that as an average. I don't know. What else you want to know? Because I know numbers all day.
He's a numbers man, so he just makes my head spin with his numbers, but he's so good at it. And again, it's learning to read his body. He knows exactly what works and what don't.
I'm just totally impressed with the way you've done it top to bottom, man.
We're so proud of you, Kev. We love you.
Well, the thing to think about is, and I think I was fat forever. I mean, I was in the Navy, and next thing you know, I'm not, and I'm really fat, and I never stopped. So all the health issues. Oh, by the way, any of you guys know about anything about hearts? My ejection fraction got checked the other day. It went from 52 to 54, and it was about 45 when I started this.
Wow.
A year ago.
Amen.
Right.
Good job.
And
Good
I've
job,
dropped one more med from that too, from my heart. But anyway, so you can't go around abusing your body after you know better. Before, we didn't know better. We were told eat cornflakes. We were told eat milk. We were told, eat the vegetarian, blah, blah, the whole, it all. But all they were doing, meaning these companies and the federal government, all they were doing was poisoning us, either purposefully or,
follow the money trail. Follow the money trail.
So now that we know better, don't do it. I mean, that's what I think about all the time. I'm not going to poison my body now that I know better.
It's something funny. Even though we went off the rails some, we could have done a whole lot worse, but I don't know. Me personally, I just kept saying, I don't know if I really want that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if I want to get a taste for that again. There's a couple things that I could have had that I didn't, and I just didn't have it. And, even though I wasn't as strict as I should have been, and we were off of what we decided to do. We we were that way. And even with that whole smorgasbord of what I could have had, I still didn't have everything. You know what I mean? There's still some things in there that I'm like, no, I really shouldn't have that. You know what I mean? And that goes back to that. It changes. I do know better now.
You know better, and you know what it's going to make you feel like. I think that's the other part of the things that you used to love and crave and want just didn't give you quite the buzz it used to. You know, it just doesn't give you the excitement, which is such a good thing. That is one step of confirmation of healing your brain from the addiction of the carbs and the sugar.
It's another reinforcement.
So it's a win to think, oh my gosh, even if I had a bite of that,
didn't get that aha factor.
it wasn't that dopamine response. It wasn't that aha feeling that, oh my gosh, I just wanted, I needed. It was kind of like, ew, like that just almost isn't even good. You know, so I mean, it's just neat how your brain is going to heal and develop and grow and change. And what you loved 5 years ago definitely is a total different ballgame right now. So you'll get there. That's another win and another step in that journey as your brain begins to heal and things begin to change. It's just a whole nother win. So good job, guys.
Hey, one last thing. Everybody who posts, I read those and they help me. They inspire me.
Yep.
And Tammy's right. I probably do have this mastered, but you're never a master when it really boils down to it. So seeing and hearing and sharing, that's been awesome for me. And that's why you see me do those long detailed posts, and it's not to toot my own horn. It's so you can see what I've been doing and how I got to where I am, because I feel it's that important about the sharing with whatever we're doing. Like Wayne, last week when you said you're going on a 72, I hadn't done a 72 in 2 months. You said you're going on a 72. It's like, well, pooh, if Wayne's doing it, I'm doing it.
And then you know what the funny thing is?
And I mean it. And that's why I did it.
That's why I'm saying if Kevin's going to do it, I'm going to do it.
And
Wayne,
I'm
wishing I could do it. If not, I'll crash and burn.
Hopefully, Wayne, on Tuesday, if I get over to Lance's, we'll send you a picture where you can see that I forced him to do it.
Oh, but that's the cool part of it. That's it. Kevin, we love you. You know we do. And again, those posts over there, those posts, I love it when you guys do that. The other thing I need you guys to take it over to the Facebook group so we can help the people at every level. I know most of you guys that are in that little group, you're veterans. You guys know a lot of this stuff. It's nice to learn off of each other and kind of challenge each other in there. But as you're describing it and as you're putting those numbers out, put that over in our group too, so that people that are coming up behind you, we have so many people that are just starting that don't understand the chemistry to the level some of you guys do, that just think this is a no-win situation, or they think it's just a torturous thing, or they can't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. There's a million ways that everybody tries to do keto. And most of us that have been in this for the long haul, we realize until you do it step by step, the way our bodies need it, that fight it, and the insulin resistance and everything like that, we can't just willy-nilly do keto. I mean, he could get away with it, but I sure can't. So it's so neat to see how we can pinpoint those numbers, and we can learn from reading each other's posts, reading each other's wins and fails, learning from each other's struggles. That is huge. I mean, I know Laura, Laura's still on here. You know, me and her were one that figured out in the 21-day thing, you know, that sweeteners, I don't care what kind of sweetener it is, whether it's stevia, whether it's monk fruit, whether it's erythritol, they don't work in our body. They fit in my numbers. They will fit in my macros every day because I'm usually 0 to 5 carbs, but they still jack my glucose up. My body cannot take a sweetness put to my tongue, period. It's that simple. You learn those things when we do it together. I love when I start feeling discouraged about it or wanting cream in my coffee or whatever. It's nice to know every time I see Laura's face, I think of me and her figuring out we can't have sweeteners. As much as it sucks, I'm not alone. I know Laura can't either, so I'm good.
But that's the great thing about it, because you figure out what works and what doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
I mean, sweeteners may work for me. They may not work for her, or they might not work for me either. So
that was a big win when he was checking his numbers all the time. He can hold the weight better. He can lose weight easier, everything like that. But when you're checking his actual metabolic health with his morning waking glucose numbers, they're no better than mine.
They're going to be.
No, they're not, because I'm going to beat your ass.
Uh-uh.
It's on. Here we go. It is on. But that is where the tribe comes in and learning from each other. So please take those posts and put them over in the Facebook group so everybody can start learning, because
then we can get a dialogue going back and forth.
And this year, our goal in that for 2023, I want that group to be an educational group. I want that group to be, even if you don't take the course from us, that is fine. If you haven't done Keto Continuum, but I want people over there to understand there is another level of keto. It's not just drop some carbs down to pee out some inflammation,
to lose some weight,
and be done. I want the cancer survivors. I want the diabetics. I want the people that are insulin resistant. I want the neuropathy people that have been told there's nothing you can do. BS. There is something you can do. It's just nobody wants to call it out and say the hard stuff. I want to be that coach to tell you the hard stuff of sometimes it just don't work. It just doesn't work. Just because it fits in your macros does not mean it fits in my body. I would have never been able to turn my neuropathy around, get off all the medications, the Oxycontin, Dilaudid, all of that stuff. If I was doing 20 carbs a day, even, it just wouldn't work for me. I figured it out by taking my numbers down and knowing I have to stay at about 10. 10 is my number, not 20. And I mean, that's just by figuring it out. I pretty much am carnivore normally, besides the last 2 weeks. So.
Real quick, I got a question over here on YouTube. This is from Melissa Steptoe. She says, I know drboz Keto Continuum level 12, 72-hour fast, but I was wondering if eat every other day or 900 calories or less supervised by a doctor for 2 months are bigger stressors than the 72-hour fasts.
I could probably pretty much answer that one by saying no. You need those 72s in a row, consecutively, cleaning that deep cleaning out of the liver. drboz is comfortable to say everybody should be able to do a 72 if you have laid your fat-based hormones, if that foundation, if your chemistry is ready to carry you into fasting.
Lay the groundwork first.
Do the basics first, then you can push into 48s, then you can push into 72s. But the whole win, to me personally, this is where I seen the change in my body, and my body is as stubborn as it gets. The change came, the win came when I did those 8 weeks of 72-hour fasts in a row. That is where the deep cleaning of the liver, that is where I started making my own ketones, not having to biohack them. That is where I started seeing my glucose literally dropping, my morning glucose, not the ones in the afternoon where there's a whole bunch of noise and variables in it. My morning glucose comes down when I do those 72-hour fasts. It cleans out. I feel like it's that deep cleaning of my liver. I need those 72s. So I think doing every other day ones or something like that, I'm sure there's benefits in that. I'm not saying there's not. Calories, I was a calorie counter for years and being a personal trainer and teaching nutrition. The minute I started learning keto was the first day I put calories down of we don't have to count calories if we're meeting our fats and proteins and stuff like that. So calories, I don't go there. And I mean, unless you're down to the nitpicking and your keto journey has been perfected, and now you're just tweaking and pinpointing details, then maybe worry about some calories. But until you've closed that eating window, backed it up during sunlight hours, all of those things first.
And we use chronometer to put things in, Melissa, if you did not know that. Yeah. And we really, really track what goes in our mouth. And when you hit those macros on that calculating machine there, that's where it's at. So you don't even have to worry about calories at that point.
And she's also, drboz is always very confident too. 72, you can go up to 72 hours without doctor supervision. If you go over 72 hours, she really wants you to have somebody monitoring you or checking or watching. But 72 hours, if your foundation is laid and your hormones are all happy.
And right there, I'm going to stop her real quick and I'm going to throw her into the loop, but you have to lay the foundation. And that is very important. And we're not going to come off of that one. You can't, I'm going to do it because I have laid my foundation beforehand. I'm going to jump in. I know what to expect. I know what my body's probably going to do, and I'm going to be ready for it. But if you haven't been there with that, you have to lay your building blocks correctly so you can succeed at that 72-hour and get the most out of it that you want.
Yeah. What's she saying?
She said, thank you. I was referring to the 2 other fasts in the Continuum book.
What other fast? Are you referring to like a 48-hour, or are you referring to what fast are you referring to? If I'm missing what you're asking me, Melissa, just jump in, type it in and ask again if I missed what you're what you're getting at. While you're doing that, Wayne, come in and jump in and tell us about you and the girls. How's everybody holding up through the holidays? Good to see you guys. Come fill us in while we wait for Melissa to jump in over there.
And there's a little bit of a delay, Melissa. That's why we're doing this, because there's about a 30-second delay on YouTube.
Hey, I'm gonna leave.
All right, honey.
But I'm gonna promise you guys that I will listen to all of your stories in the morning. So,
all right,
go, Andrea.
Bye.
We'll see you this week. We'll talk soon, Andrea.
Yeah.
Go, Wayne.
Hello, everybody. Basically, we've been in the same boat as everybody else. Didn't completely go off the rails, but we're probably more relaxed and mild regret at this point. A little bit off the rails more than I wanted to be. This was a learning experience, however, that the eating window is, to me at this point, eating window is more than 50% of the battle.
Yep.
I really didn't go off the rails that much with high carb foods, but the eating window was very relaxed at times.
Yep.
And that's really what threw me off. I did my numbers every morning. My blood sugars went back up into the morning blood sugars went back up into the 120s. I don't think at 130, but back up in the 120s. Getting back after the Christmas weekend during this week, back to work and all, I got it now that it's down in the 110 range. My ketones haven't been coming back as well as I've hoped. So I think it's white knuckling is what you're calling it, Lance.
Yes, sir, brother. Here it comes.
The heck with it. I'm doing the 72. I'm curious if you're looking at doing a completely clean 72.
Absolutely.
Are you doing MCT or pucker or anything?
Nope. I go.
That's where I'm leaning, but
when I say I'm going to fast, I'm going to fast. I'm going clean. Salt water, salt in my coffee. That's it.
Yep. That's my plan. So I want to see those ketones kick back up. And for the person on YouTube that was asking about the fasts, again, we were focusing on answering her on the 48 or 72 versus alternate day. My experience was we did 48s for a number of weeks before we jumped into 72s, and it was night and day. My numbers really started responding in that last 24-hour period. So the 72 really made a difference, at least for me, that the 48 wasn't doing.
And that's something any of us that are major insulin resistance that have really had those issues, the magic in those numbers comes between that 48 and 72. It seems like to me across the board. If you have major insulin resistance, and Wayne has dealt with high morning glucoses and diabetes and things like that. So those things, the higher and the worse that you're used to dealing with in that seems to be, that is where the magic happens, is between that 48 and 72. But again, Wayne has spent months laying the foundation to get to those 72s. He didn't just jump in and do a 72. Now, Lance and Wayne saying, and Kevin the same way, the guys, can they jump in and white knuckle it through a week or two and be fine and kick right back in? Absolutely. Us girls, don't do it, ladies. Unless you, maybe Sharon, because she's pretty well established in her.
Laura Harris says, I'm doing it.
Go, Laura. Some of you that I want to, but I don't want to crash, and I still have to work this week. So I have to get back in it, but I've got to go at a pace that I can function and not just curl up in a ball and want to chew my own leg off. So
you don't want Dr. Boz yelling at you.
Yeah, I don't need Dr. Boz yelling at me again. So we'll stay on course, but just know, Wayne, I'm so proud of you guys. Get back on, do what you know how to do, but you know how hard to push. You know when you're okay.
And I think part of me not feeling well either was probably some lack of activity. I got to get back into, I'm not training for a triathlon, but I'm doing my exercise bike for 20 minutes a day, a half hour sauna. Oh, and they opened up a float spa in our own little hometown here.
Yes.
So
Nice.
instead of having to drive 90 minutes to go, now we have one right in our hometown. So
Then make
we
that
have-
date night and do it every week.
Oh,
well,
That would be
we got
something.
one booked for tomorrow afternoon. So
Dude, wait till you get out of that thing. If it's a good float with a lot of salt, oh man.
They just
we've
drive.
been doing it. We were doing floats before we even really knew about keto.
My goodness.
Nice.
I was energized. I mean, it was like, look out. What do you want me to do, honey? It was nuts, man. I felt good.
I come out all zen and all relaxed. It finally calms me down.
I am pinging.
He's pinging, and I'm like, dude, I finally just got my head calmed down, my body calmed down. Slow the hell down. Let me catch up.
I'm like you, Tammy. I just like.
I want to come home and go to sleep. Just take a sauna and snuggle in. He's bouncing
My
off.
joints felt so good. I was like, yeah, I'm like a rubber band man. I was like ready.
Yeah.
Again,
No,
but look what how different the scenarios are, doing the exact same thing. But again, it's learning to read your body. So good for you for doing it. And Wayne, the other thing with you guys, that eating window, you are so right. That eating window getting opened up and being all willy-nilly is not for the faint of heart. That is a big stressor on that body, is opening that back up. So tightening that back up is a good stressor. Get that tightened back up, get your body back on track. Just remember, for any newbies here, every time you put something in your mouth, that insulin's getting thrown out. That it's like putting gasoline on the fire. So every time you're putting calories in, you're stimulating insulin and glucose again. So
it's even 1 calorie.
Just don't clean it up. It's time to clean house. We're going to get it going.
Stop being a cow. Quit grazing.
No grazing.
This guy.
He's the grazer. He's one of those. If it's in there,
If it's on the table, it's fair game.
Yeah. So I decided when we make snacks, I'm making 2 plates because he eats a heck of a lot faster than I do. And it's like, dude, I want something. I just don't eat it all at one time. So he'll learn. But yeah. Anyways. Okay. Good job, Wayne. Tell Vicky hi. Everything. Who else wants to jump in? Anybody want to jump in and share tonight? Felicia, good to see you, hon. What's she saying? What she said? 147.
1 second. We're reading Melissa's.
Go ahead and read it out loud.
It says 147. Eat Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So fasting more than 72 hours over the course of a week. 900 calories or less OMAD with doctor supervision, and 72-hour fast. 3 advanced stressors. Page 486 of Keto Continuum book. I'll have to look that one up.
We'll have to look that one up because I would say no. I would still say, I guess I need to read it to understand exactly what she's saying.
That may be a step
to getting to the 72.
Getting to the 72 to get your body prepared for that. In what I would think, or it might be something that somebody did. If Dr. Boz was referring to somebody in the Keto Continuum, who'd she write the book for? That person.
I need to interrupt because I don't mean to barge in, but that's what I'm doing, and it's what Dr. Boz directed me to.
Nice.
Okay.
Can you come and explain a little bit to us?
Yeah, I did the brain course this December. So when she did the analysis of the assessment that we took, and I got to ask my questions, it was real clear that, like you guys are saying, the fat base has to be there, and it hasn't been. But that is one thing that I did, and she said that it's okay. So I just did one. It actually ended up being like 40, almost 50 hours, but it was just because of the way that the day went. But I ate fat on the day I didn't eat food. Does that make sense?
Okay.
One day I did my 16-8 or my 18-6, whichever. And then it was actually 5-19, but whatever. And then I didn't eat anything except fat. So I ended up having about 600 calories, whatever. It was 120 Anyway, 60, it was like 60 grams of fat. And then today I broke it and I doubled the fat and then did the amount of protein that she said that I needed to do. I will be doing that going forward, probably at least 2 weeks, maybe up through the end of January. And
Okay,
that
so
is to get
in
the
place of-
fat.
Okay.
It's to get the fat. It's to get my gut because
To absorb that fat.
That's it. Because she
Okay.
even referred to it at her Tuesday Night Live.
Okay.
The feedback that she gave me, which is, I don't have time. I need to get the fat basis going. I need to get my gut to deal with the fat and get used to dealing with the fat first.
Okay. Now I get
So
it.
that's
Okay.
what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry. I
okay.
didn't mean to barge in.
No, that's true.
Thank you.
It's in there. Yeah,
Thank you
it's
for
in there.
clearing that up because so again, we're kind of saying the same thing then. Will be a stepping stone to get to
A
your
transition.
72, a transition to train your body to be able to absorb the fat that you need to advance to those longer fasts. So yes, Melissa, so thank you for asking that. And I'm sorry I couldn't clear that up and understand it right away. So thank you. Diane just cleared it up though. That is letting your body getting to truly get fat adapted to where you're able to absorb that much fat without having to run to the bathroom, without being miserable, and trying to get it in you to keep those. Fat is what makes you need fat to make the ketones.
You need to run off of fat.
You need to train your body to do that. So that would make sense on when that would be applied, but that is still your stepping stone to getting moving in the direction of those 72s, if I'm understanding that correctly. So I'll read up on that to make sure I'm understanding or hearing anything, but again, it's just another tool and another way to get you fat adapted. Some of us I had to do bone broth for weeks and weeks just to get my gut to heal. Because if not, every time I would eat the fat, I'd be in the bathroom. I mean, I couldn't up my fats fast enough to stay out of the bathroom. I had to back off and slow down. And I literally now sit with my little dish with my little MCT capsules in it. And on my feeding days, not on my fasting days, but on my feeding days, I munched on them. For the last probably 2 months, I have had one at a time, every 10, 15 minutes, or when I would look over and notice them. It wasn't a bunch of fat at one time, but it was trying to get my body used to using it and used to getting it in me that it wouldn't send me to the bathroom. So that's just another tool and another strategy. So thank you, Melissa. I hope that cleared things up. And thank you for sharing that, Diane. Making sense. All right. Who wants to jump in next? Anybody else? Who wants to share tonight? Linda, you guys will be in class tomorrow night. When you guys will be over there. April, I know you were asking some questions. Are you wanting in for class tomorrow night? I forget, or if you're just doing support group. You want to come check in? There we go. If we can get you unmuted.
I have a question if someone's there.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't have my picture up because I go to bed at 7, so I'm not taking a picture in the dark. Anyway, is someone else talking now?
Nope, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, because I have a question. I haven't had any trouble keeping everything where my weight's been consistent and everything. But in 2010, I had gotten diagnosed with MS. So I don't know if my problem is specific to me, but I had told you before that I had a fatty liver. I mean, my legs, everything is small, but my waist is 35 and it should be way smaller. Because when I was younger, my waist was a 24. And so I know I have a fatty liver because I've had ultrasounds and things like that. And so, but the one thing that I would do when I would exercise, and so I just wonder if anybody else had this problem. If I would go for a walk with like in the summer, I'd go for a walk with my dad. After about 30 minutes, I would have trouble walking. And, but I wasn't out of breath and I wasn't tired. I just like couldn't pick up my feet and get everything going. And if I did the treadmill after about 30 minutes, I was the same problem. Like I had to hang on and then I'd have trouble walking around the place. And so then I heard Dr. McDougall talk about starches. So I did this thing last week just as an experiment. And it's amazing because I had some starches, and like within 30 minutes, I could go on the treadmill and I did 2 miles nonstop and no problems.
Okay, Donna, the first thing my gut's going to tell me on that, first of all, with the MS, you want to be in this for the long haul for the brain health. For the brain health, you need to get those fats up. Starches are going to be carbs. So what that's kind of telling me, my gut would kind of make me think that you're not fat adapted. You're burning off of sugar. And why that got easier then is because you ingested the starches or whatever, the carbs.
I was on no carbs for 3 years. So what Dr. McDougall said, so this is the question, and I don't know what he means, but he was saying that if you have low carbs, you will run out of energy where you'll go so far and stop. And that is what seems to be what was going on with me.
Okay, but have you started at the beginning of Keto Continuum and built your fat-based hormones the whole step of the way, or did you just drop carbs down to 0?
No, I've been doing this since 2018 with drboz, and not her counseling me. I'm just saying I was following her. And I started out 20 carbs or less every day. And then when I lost weight and I hit a plateau, I'd wait about a month. And then I went 20 carbs or less 3 days a week. And then when I hit another plateau, I went 20 carbs or less once every 2 weeks. Then I went once every 3 weeks. Well, then I got down.
Okay, but Donna, can I stop you right there? If you're doing that and you're carb cycling like that, and you're only doing that so many days a week, you're not completely fat adapted in that, would be my guess. Because you're
I even did carnivore for like a year.
Okay, does that mean 20 carbs or less every day carnivore, or does that mean you did that once or twice a week or 3 times a week?
My carbs, I only did 20 carbs or less every day for about 3 months. Ever since then, my carbs are very strict and not around. But when I just started doing this, and what I ate was some kidney beans. And I can't believe that it's like overnight difference. Like I could do the treadmill. I did 3 miles today on the treadmill. No problem. It's just something that I wasn't able to do before.
Okay, but I'm still getting the feeling of, if I'm not, just because I would just struggle that all your fat-based hormones are stable and being truly fat adapted.
When I ran into the problem where I was running out of energy, I got really lean and I had my metabolism really cranked up. I was running out of energy just functioning. Here I come to find out I was not getting near enough fat to run off of. I actually turned my body into a fat burner, and I had burned almost all my fat off my body, and I was not ingesting enough to run on to have enough energy. That didn't change until I upped my fats, and I actually had to look at every gram of fat that I was putting in. And at one point, my daily intake of fat was 270 grams of fat per day is what I needed. And to kind of throw that out there, what was the measuring cup that we used?
It was 1 1.25 cups of fat a day was the visual he needed.
An actual measuring cup of avocado oil. I had to drink 1.5 of those a day.
Now he didn't just drink it every day like that. He would get it in his food.
That's what would equal out to 270 grams of fat a day. And that it wasn't until I got my fats up where I found that I had energy again.
So Donna, I would probably be curious to play with your macros with you. I would just really struggle with adding the carbs or adding the starches or adding the beans or anything like that. You would be moving forward a little bit and then a step backwards. Then you're moving forward, then a step backwards, because your body is going to go back and grab that glucose. That's going to be the quick, easy fuel. So your body, of course, you are going to feel better for a minute because it's going to find.
Yeah, but the only thing is, if I have a fatty liver and my liver is not up to par, I don't know that because like you guys, you can talk about eating fat, but it does not send me to the bathroom. I can eat fat all day and it doesn't send me to the bathroom. But if my liver's fatty, I don't want to store it there either.
Okay, but that's
So
why you have to get,
I should be.
that's why you
dumping
have
the-
to get fat adapted and you have to get your body burning fat and running off of ketones instead of glucose. Every time you ingest that glucose, you're restoring it into the liver. So that's where a fatty liver comes from. So you have to get the glucose down and that glucose out of you and the fats in you to become fat adapted.
Okay, I had an ultrasound on my liver 2 years ago, and then I had one last year, and they found no changes, and I was eating only fat. I was not eating carbs. I mean, my carbs was non-existent.
Yeah, but if you were earlier when you were saying you would do that for a few days and then go back to carbs for a few days, that's kind of like
no. When I went back to carbs, I was not eating carbs for a few days. I was only eating 20 carbs or less once every 3 weeks or once every 2 weeks. So that means my carbs were kale. Okay, so I could eat a big pile of kale for one day, and then I didn't eat carbs again for 3 weeks or 2 weeks, depending on where I was on the continuum. I mean, trust me, I was strict with my carbs, and I wasn't eating any starches, period. I only had the starches whenever I heard about that. And I just thought I would try it. It's not like it's going to put weight on me because I know where I am. And I mean, I wear pants that are a size 6. When I was young, I wore size 12s. I always had a skinny waist, but I had a big butt and big thighs. I am not there. But like I said, I know that with the rest of me getting smaller, my waist is not catching up. So that is part of when you have a fatty liver, you got a belly.
But I would still, Donna, my recommendation would be get your chronometer, make sure you're hitting your fat macros and your proteins, keep those carbs as low as you can. I would not reintroduce beans or starches or anything like that if you're trying to clean up that liver and the glucose. That would only be my thing. I don't understand that. I don't know the study you're talking about, so I can't refer to it. But just in general, with keto continuum, I would still say stick to the fats, get your fat macros in you. We want your body running off of ketones. We don't want it to keep grabbing that glucose and that quick sugar. With MS on top of that, that's brain health. We need the fat. We need those healthy fats in the brain, and you need that glucose out of the brain to heal the brain. So that would be the thing. I know something else may be over my head, something that I don't quite understand, but from everything that I've read and learned through coaching, even Primal Health Coach doesn't push carbs like that. Dr. Boz's program don't push the carbs like that. So I would just say follow, put your stuff in your chronometer, make sure you're hitting those fat macros and proteins first, and keeping those carbs as low as they can always seems to be the answer. It really does.
But have you known anybody that's reversed a fatty liver doing anything that you're talking about?
Absolutely. All of us, most of us. Yes.
Okay. Well, did you have just a fatty liver, or did you have a fatty liver with fibrosis? I got F2 and F3 fibrosis. F4 is cirrhosis. So we can't play.
Okay. But again, keeping those carbs as low and that glucose as low as you can, so it's not building fat in the liver, would be the answer. You know,
you want your body.
I had neurofibromas on the bottom of my feet the size of walnuts. I mean, I had balls big enough that they had to build things on the bottom of my feet for my for my feet to hit the floor. A fibroma is just fibrous tissue. It's just tissue that is building and growing. So it's one of those things. Doesn't matter where the fibromas are. You got to decrease the inflammation and get that out of you. I mean, so liver or wherever. I mean, it's just, you got to turn it into, you got to become a fat burner so you can pull it out of the liver to burn it up. Yeah. You want to clean that up. So, but good job. Keep your chronometer going. Good for you for reaching the weight goals and things like that. But the only thing I could say, if it was me, I would be getting your carbs as low as you can, your fats as high as you can, and fill up on protein in the meantime. And I would not carb cycle. Would not be
Tammy,
like
maybe you can ask Dr. Boz about that, because I thought it can take up, if a fatty liver can take up to 12 months.
It takes a long time. It
takes a while.
A long time for the people with truly a fatty liver. You hear people talk about the non-alcoholic fatty liver and things like that. That is what those 72 hours, that is what that long-term cleaning out that deep liver that we talk about. That's what those consecutive 8 weeks in a row of 72 hours, that is where those come in, because you're deep cleaning that liver. You're reversing fatty liver. You're reversing cirrhosis. You're reversing all of those things in the liver. You're building new liver cells. All those things are happening when you get that glucose cleaned out and get to those deep fastings where you're getting the autophagy and you're building new cells and the human growth hormone is kicking in and everything is getting in there. But you got to get that fat foundation laid first before you can progress to the later stages. You know, you just,
and it's not just one time through the 8 weeks of 72 hours.
Right.
I mean, we continue.
We take a week off and go right back at another 8 because I still have fatty liver. I still have issues I'm trying to deal with. Doesn't matter what your weight is. We're not in this to fit in our skinny jeans. We are in this to heal at the cellular level. And that is what the majority of those of us in our group, in this group here, are here to do, is healing at the cellular level. We have major brain health issues. We have diabetes in this group. We have fatty liver in this group. We have seizures in this group. We have MS in this group. We have schizophrenia in this group. We have so many ailments that are deep healing issues. Neuropathy was a killer for me. All those things we have in this group of people that are doing this to heal at the cellular level. So Donna, you're not alone. We're all in this with you. Just hold tight, girl. But I would use that chronometer and I would make sure you're hitting those macros. So, good job. Who else wants to check in? Who else? We got a bunch of people listening. Stina, you want to check in? Where'd she go?
Actually, I was going to go back to April because I think April was going to start.
Oh, April, go ahead, hon. Can you jump in? Are you muted? There you go. Come on, jump on in. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Am I unmuted?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. We can hear you.
Okay, cool. Well, I am gonna start the class tomorrow.
Good.
And I did the 21-day group. And I did really well with that. And I've kind of slipped from there. And so it's time to get back and get serious and really lay my foundation so that I can, get back to where I need to be.
We're all in this with you, girl. You're in the right place. Even those of us that came off of the 21-day thing, I'm really questioning if we need to just do a 21-day refresh over here too. So I think it's that accountability. It's that accountability showing up that really works. Yeah. It really is. So we will see you tomorrow night. Be there. I'll get all the new links and stuff posted tomorrow. We'll be working on all that, but we'll see you tomorrow night. So
Sounds
we're happy to have you on board.
All right.
Who else? All right. You want to go, Stina, now?
Yeah, I'll go quick. So
go ahead.
Some of you knew I got COVID right after Thanksgiving, which kind of segued into a really rough December. And I'll just say this, lesson learned, I gained 8 pounds, even slightly being off of ketosis. And I'm struggling to get back on. But I have to get fat adapted before I can get back into my 72-hour fast. So that is the goal. So just like everybody else, get back on it.
Get back in. And again, I think that for us girls, let the guys rock and roll it right now. The guys need to lead and go do what the guys know they can do. But us girls, we need to get those fats in us this week. I don't care how. Get the fat base. I'm going to make a fresh batch of bacon grease mayonnaise. I'm going to make some butter fat bombs. Right now, I'm going to stick with my heavy cream for this week. Next week, my cream will have to go. But coconut cream, get those fats in you. Worry about that. We had some fat left over for some prime rib from Christmas that my brother cut off his prime rib for us. We're going to put that in the air fryer. And we got some pork belly, all those little things that I have to get my fats in me this week. I'm going to have a new pile of my MCT here on my desk. We're going to keep going. Get those fats in you, because then we can push you. Then we can get you back at those 72, 48s, whatever. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. If I have to stick at 48s again, whatever, but it is what it is. We'll get there. We'll get there all together, but don't just try to jump in like the guys are, because most of us girls will crash and burn and be miserable. So except Sharon, she's our rock star. She can kind of push a little harder than the rest.
I think Laura's going to do it too. So
Laura is too. Hey, those of us that are veterans, that we've been through it before, if you know your chemistry and you know you can push it, go for it. If you don't and you're not sure, I know my body will fight me, and I don't want to crash and burn because I don't have time to crash and burn and start over. So I'm going to take a week to do fats, get my eating window closed up a little bit and get going again so I can get my body going in the right direction, just to make sure I'm ready to push through for the fasting. So good job, Stina. We'll see ya in class too. I think.
Yeah, I'm already feeling a headache from I'm already getting the headache ready because I'm gonna have one serious tomorrow. I know it.
He'll have the scowl on tomorrow. You'll see. He'll have those. I go like this one.
She calls me Walter from Jeff Dunham. I'll have my Walter face on.
Having his Walter guy on. He's usually a pretty happy dude, but you get him going. Sandy, do you want to check in? If you're just listening, honey, that's fine. Betty Lou, do you want to come check in? I know Laura's just waiting, and Terry. Who else? Does anybody else want to check in tonight? Linda, do you guys want to check in?
Rob's trying.
There we go.
Okay. You guys are in class tomorrow night, so come on in. Tell us where you're at.
Well, we're not anywhere yet. We're just getting started. But what time tomorrow night?
We're going to go 7 o'clock beginners, 8 o'clock advanced. So, okay. And here's the other thing I'm going to throw out to other people that are that are doing the class. If the beginners want to sit in on the advanced and the advanced want to sit in on the beginners, you're welcome to. I will just go on one. We'll probably use the same link and we'll just go from one to the other. I'm going to try that and see how it goes, but I am going to make all new links for tomorrow. So I'll be sending those out. I'll put them in. I'll put us in that group if you're in the coaching one, but I'm going to see tomorrow might just be the meet and greet, get everybody's chronometer lined up, get everybody's mojo working, all those kind of things.
Who's not there.
Get your toolbox established, make sure everybody has all the checklists and all the things going. And look at you, got your mojo.
Got your mojo on.
Good.
Yep.
We'll make sure we get all that stuff.
We got to get our chronometer on. I mean, that thing has been a battle.
It is.
Just trying to get it set up and, get it in there.
Sometimes it's easier to, if you need some help with that, sometimes it's easier. I can sign in on the computer for you and sign in and set it up and just let you refresh and it'll be.
I'm rocking the free version. That way she's got the gold. I got the free version. That way I can go back and forth between hers and mine and figure out who has what and then figure out everything. Yeah. So
the one thing I will say, if you're still on the fence on it, if you do get the gold, I can add you to my recipes and stuff like that. So we can kind of all see each other a little bit easier. I'm learning a little bit more about it. So it's not a mandatory thing, but I think it's like $30 for the year.
But again,
you're fine.
Once you get it set up, at some point you'll need to change it again. Yeah. Because you'll be needing to continue to change your weight as your weight drops or as things as specs of your body or the way your journey is going is changing. You'll have to change that in chronometer to keep up with your body. So you don't want to continue to do the same thing. So be prepared to start looking at it and learning it, and that just going in and being able to change, your weight, your goal, your different little aspects about it that will happen.
Okay.
Well, it's sounding like the gold is a little more user friendly.
It does seem to be a little bit easier.
Less advertisement.
It just seems to connect a little easier because we're going to connect your chronometer to your mojo and your mojo to the patient portal. And to let chronometer and mojo talk back and forth, it just seems to go easier if you have the gold. Again, if you go to, I'll send you a link if you want it. Let me know. It's no big deal. You don't have to. I mean, we'll figure it out, but it just takes a little bit more of figuring to get it. Stina, you got to go, hon. Good night. Talk to you soon. But anybody else want to check in? You guys all good? We'll see, Linda. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
We want to thank everybody for coming tonight.
Yep. Terry, did you want to check in?
It's awesome.
Terry is. Laura's just listening. Sandy's just listening. All right. Anybody else want to check in?
Any other questions?
If not, come on over to that group. Again, if you haven't got tickets for KetoCon and you have any chance of going, JTK 50, we'll save you $50 on that. The price did go up again, I think, or supposed to January 1st. So I'm assuming it did. I haven't been on there yet to check today, but if you're getting tickets for that, go over into the group Journey to Keto with Tammy Laubacher on Facebook. If you're not on there, please join the group, share it out with anybody that you know it could help, and invite that group. That's a group we'd like to grow, and that's free to everybody. So there's nothing in that one. That is where we just want to help and share and grow and get all the people that we can help love. Any questions over there? Are we good?
Nope. Everybody seems to be
Everybody's
good.
good. All right, guys. We will see everybody in class tomorrow night, the ones in, and we'll see you guys beginner 7 o'clock, advanced 8 o'clock, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow night. Talk to you later. Love y'all.